Good evening, and thank you for choosing the MKLK Nightly News. The votes are in, and as of the 6th day in November of 1860, the President of the United States is Abraham Lincoln. I was lucky enough to have an interview with our President himself. Here's the interview. Hi, Mr. Lincoln. How are you today?
I am good, but with the state that our country is in during this civil war, it is hard to be happy.
Yes, I can only imagine what it would be like being the president under this time of stress. What is your opinion on this civil war?
Well, our country is supposed to be the United States of America. It is hard to be united when the two halves of our country don't agree on the matter at hand, which is slavery. When I heard that Fort Sumner was attacked on April 12, 1861, I wasn't completely surprised because I knew there was already a feud between northern and southern states.
How long do you think that the rebellion will last?
The troops will most likely be home by December of 1861.
That would be awesome if the troops could be home to spend Christmas with their families. One last question for you, Mr. Lincoln. Why did you announce the Emancipation Proclamation in January like you did?
Well, I wanted to wait until they had a major victory like they did at Antietam.
Very nice. Thank you for meeting with me today, Mr. President. Now to the nightly...
Thank you very much, Renee. Many of us are in poverty because everything we is going to the war efforts, but we have to depend on our agricultural business and push through until the end of the war. In other news, in Nashville, Tennessee, the Tennessee legislature, by a vote of 20-4 in the Senate and 6-21 in the House, ordered a referendum for declaration of independence on June 8th. Also in Tennessee, on May 7, 1861, the legislature approves a military league with the Confederacy, in effect joining it. It will be approved by the people in June. President Davis approves the declaration of state of war between the United States and the Confederate States. The same act authorizes privateer letters and marquee. In London, Parliament recognizes the Confederacy as a belligerent entitled to certain privileges, but not as a nation. In Washington, President Lincoln orders Colonel Robert Anderson, hero of Fort Sumner, to recruit troops for the Union from Western Virginia. On May 9, 1861, the Confederate Navy sends James D. Bullock to Great Britain to purchase ships and arms from private businesses. He will succeed admirably. On May 10, 1861, President Davis signs an act of Congress authorizing purchase abroad of 6 warships, arms, and supplies. Naval Secretary Mallory suggests ironclads, ships from wooden hulls and iron decks and superstructure to counter the much larger federal wooden fleet. On May 16, 1861, Congress admits Tennessee into the Confederacy, and the next day, on May 17, 1861, President Davis admits North Carolina into the Confederacy contingent upon its approval of the Ordinance of Succession and adoption of the Confederate Constitution. Confederate Congress authorizes insurance treasury notes up to $10 billion and establishes a Confederate army and calls for 11,700 troops, 5,000 of which are to go to Pensacola. It is important that us as a North stick together and beat the Confederacy to eliminate all slaves. Now, on to Renee for the remainder of the nightly news.
Thank you, Jack. On December 18th, 1860, in Washington, Senator John J. Crittenden of Kentucky proposes the Crittenden Compromise. It consists of 6 constitutional amendments. The abolishment of slavery in all territories north of latitude 3630, the old Missouri compromise line. A territory will be admitted as a state with or without slavery as the state constitution provides. The second one, Congress cannot abolish slavery under its exclusive jurisdiction. The third one, Congress cannot abolish slavery within the District of Columbia as long as it exists in nearby states or without the consent of the inhabitants or without just compensation. The fourth one, Congress has no power to prohibit or hinder transportation of slaves from one state to another. The fifth one, Congress is to have the power for the U.S. to pay slave owners the full value of fugitive slaves when officers are prevented from arresting fugitive slaves. And the sixth one, no future constitutional amendments shall be made to the 5 preceding articles, nor to sections of the Constitution permitting slavery, and no amendment can be made that gives Congress the power to abolish or interfere with slavery in states where state law permits it. And that's all, signing off from the MKLK Nightly News. I'm Renee. Thank you.